Let's get ready to rumble.
Yes, we're back. It's episode 114 of the Hibs Ramble. I'm joined by Shaun and Marc this evening. It's your host as always, Liam. Guys, how are we?
Well, we've been waiting in here. We've been waiting in here for over an hour, waiting for you, Liam. So I'm not great.
It's called fashionably late, and if you don't get it, then you don't get it. The girls who get it, and the girls who don't. Basically.
Right.
How are you anyway, apart from that? Sorry to have wasted so much of your time.
I'm good. Same as ever.
Shaun, how are you?
Yeah, me and Marc have had a great hour long conversation. It's good to spend some good quality time with Marc without fucking idiots like you and Craig being around us.
We've been talking all sorts. We've been talking about our pensions.
We spoke about in the last hour. We've spoke about everything.
He's having a proper
none of it was Hibs related.
That's funny, man. Before we get started, I actually saw that on this day in 2012, Marc, I sent you this earlier on, we beat Dunfermline at East End Park. The Gary O'Connor game where he lifted his top up and had "Only God Can Judge Me" written in biro on a white T-shirt underneath that. Shaun, were you there at that game?
Is that your motto for tonight then? Is that why you were so late?
Yeah, basically, yeah. My motto for tonight was "You'll get me when you get me."
How many years ago was that?
Well, it was 2012, so what's that, 13 years
I was in
ago?
Australia.
That was a brilliant night. Because was up your... We were in the trenches back then. We were in the absolute trenches.
So were they. That was like a proper relegation battle.
It was between us and them that season, wasn't it? Because I remember, I think it was the last day of the season, and it was just before the Scottish Cup final when we played Hearts, and we beat Dunfermline 4-0 at Easter Road. And I remember thinking, we've hit form at the right time. It was the last game of the season. I remember Paul Hanlon hit a volley for like the edge of the box, and it was about that away from being over the line. It was nowhere near the line, and it got given as a goal.
It was incredible. I'm sure I've spoken about that on this podcast before. That goal, that was such an odd season.
That
game at East End Park was incredible because me and you and your brother were there.
I can't remember my brother being there.
I think your brother was there. I'm sure he was.
I doubt it, mate. I doubt it.
Oh well. Maybe I'm getting my record.
We went to East End Park for a friendly once, me and my brother, but I'm pretty sure he wasn't.
I'm sure me, you, and your brother were like down the front because
that friendly was there that long ago.
Aye, I
was there for that. Aye.
Yeah, maybe that. Is that the one where Callum Booth knocked out a seagull, killed a seagull with his volley? Were you there for that one, Marc?
I left after about 10 minutes, to be honest, the friendly.
Oh no, I do remember that. I remember you putting that in the group chat, being like, "Oh no, fuck this, I'm away."
I can't bear friendly. I only went because Dunfermline's a decent night, and we just were like, let's just leave.
Friendlies are beneath me.
Yeah, I hate friendlies.
Let's talk about things that aren't friendlies, and that is back to league action. And picking up the 3 points again, boys, on Saturday, a 3-1 win at home to Motherwell. They beat us 2-1 at Easter Road in the last game. We then went to Fir Park, beat them 3-0, and then we do the business over them again at Easter Road. I was pretty confident going into the game. O'Hora was in for Miller, and Levitt was in for Kwon. 2 changes probably that I would have made. Marc, were you happy with how David Gray started with his 11?
Yeah, I think we're in a position right now, and it's a nice position where I'm almost not even looking at the team sheets at this point. I think when we're at our worst, I'm looking at the team sheets being really critical and saying, why is he playing? Why is he not playing? Blah, 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 blah. Who are you winking at, Liam? That was a cheeky little wink.
Megan's just pouring herself a wee bowl of cereal.
What kind of cereal can I ask?
It's Crave. It's Crave cereal.
Oh, I love Crave.
Yeah. Megan, do you want to say anything to the Ramblers? And she says she's really sorry for being here.
Oh.
She's been banished to the bedroom.
Please don't be sorry, Megan. You're welcome. You're welcome on the podcast anytime. Anyway, we're in a good position where, like, I'm barely even looking at the team sheet these days because I'm quite confident whatever team is going to be out there. So like O'Hora coming in, I'm pleased because he's a natural centre half, whereas I don't think Lewis Miller is, although he's not done a bad job these last couple of weeks. And yeah, honestly, I was kind of happy with whatever we went with, because we're just in that position. We're on a high.
Yeah, O'Hora give us a little bit more stability, Sean, at the back, but maybe with Dylan Levitt coming in, that's that player that can maybe unlock a few doors that Kwon can't. Maybe instead of going with the double act of Triantis and Kwon and the double pivot, you've got Levitt who can play a little bit more further forward.
Can you? Because he doesn't.
Well, I mean,
I know.
in an ideal world, yes, but
I
then Levitt I think Levitt is told to then play deeper.
Yeah, in
my
probably
opinion,
just
Levitt should be further forward.
Yeah, he's just doing more what he's asked to do more than anything else. Mark makes a good point actually, and I probably think he's not the only person that is looking at the team sheet like that as well. Because when we put out the reaction, as we always do, to the lineup on Instagram, a lot of people were still really, really happy with it, and I was quite surprised because I thought people would have been like concerned about maybe Levitt because he's not played a lot of minutes, and when he has played, he's not overly great and doesn't really do too much. So I expected a wee bit more from Levitt, to be honest. I thought that would have been the opportunity for him to come in and kind of make a statement levelly performance. Listen, he didn't do anything wrong. He just didn't. He looked out his depth just a little bit for me. I just feel like he could have done a wee bit more, especially from a creativity perspective. I think maybe that's why Gray went with him instead of like Mariah Welsh, for example, hoping that Levitt would be able to be that extra creative spark.
I think I thought Levitt was good, to be honest.
Yeah,
I thought he was good.
I've got to say I've got to disagree with that, Sean. I thought that Levitt played well. I don't think he was in any way, shape, or form. You go, oh wow, Dylan Levitt was incredible today. But I feel like the inclusion of Levitt over Kwon was the right decision. Obviously, Dylan Levitt's not played an awful lot of football for Hibs since he joined.
What I do think, though, Sean, is after probably 20 minutes before we scored our first goal, I felt that, and we talked about this on the pod a few weeks ago, Josh Campbell, some people have been critical, and what I said at the time was, Josh Campbell's really good in your derbies and maybe against Rangers, and those games that the ball's never settled. But it's this exact type of game, Motherwell at home, where Josh Campbell comes undone a wee bit, because he just can't quite find that killer ball, he can't quite unlock defences. And I thought it was really apparent. Although, don't get me wrong, I thought he was good because he ran about. He was, really good in the air, and he was busy. But what I would have done, of course, it doesn't matter now. And what do I know? We went on to win the game 3-1. I would have actually swapped Josh Campbell and Dylan Levitt. So for a game like this, where we've got pretty much 8 men behind the ball against Motherwell, Josh Campbell in that midfield doing what he does, running about, being busy, and having Dylan Levitt in the 10 because he can find that pass, he can unlock defences. Obviously, it didn't work out that way, and that didn't happen. But that's what I was thinking at that time. But like I said, it didn't matter in the end because we won the game.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you put that in the group chat at halftime, and I think I agreed with you there. Campbell does an awful lot. He does. He's very, very busy, and I feel like he worked his arse off. But because he's not that conventional 10, he's not got that conventional 10 quality of, playing the Coutinho role or whatever. But I think that Levitt, Triantis and Campbell in there were absolutely fine. I think that was probably the right action to take. But I didn't actually expect Motherwell to approach the game as they did. I thought, Sean, that they would have come out a little bit more and tried to hurt us a wee bit more, but it looked like that they were just sitting back and it was damage limitation for the first whistle. Yeah,
Kettlewell looked like he was really frustrated with that. So I don't actually know if it was their full intention to do it, but I think especially the way that we started the game, and especially in the first half, like the first half performance was really, really good as a collective, and I think that probably just forced Motherwell further back, and that we head them in a little bit more than anything else. I wasn't surprised to see that we started so well as well, because we had the longer break in between the matches, and Motherwell had obviously played during the week. So maybe there was a mixture for Motherwell of fatigue and also like maybe just trying to kill the good vibe around Easter Road and maybe just try and sit in and catch something and then obviously try and get the fans against the team. Because at the moment, as Mark said, obviously we're performing really well and it's confidence is sky high. So Motherwell were probably just trying to ruffle a few feathers more than anything else, and it worked against them.
And I think
I feel like... Sorry, Mark, on you go, mate.
No, I was just going to say, I feel like they set up the exact same way they did at Easter Road when they won the game 2-1. Look, Motherwell are not a good football team. Like every time I've seen them this season, they've been really, really poor, and I think that's why they looked like they came to Easter Road not to lose the game. And that was the best thing about us scoring the 2 goals, is I felt, right, we've got these 2 goals, now Motherwell are going to have to come out a bit and we'll find more space. It did happen in the second half, but we just weren't quite up for it enough to actually, find those spaces in behind and all that. But they looked like they came just set up to defend. They didn't look interested in winning the game, and it looked like it was going to be another, if they were going to get something, it'd be another smash and grab like it was when they beat us 2-1. Mm-hmm. But look, if we can't finish above them come the end of the season, there's something wrong, because they are very, very, very poor.
Yeah, they were awfully gangy at the weekend, and I think that was kind of epitomised by the fact that Nicky Cadden goes off with a broken nose. At the time, I was surprised that it wasn't even checked for VAR for serious foul play or a penalty. Shaun, I don't know what the rules are around that, but what did you think?
Initially, I was hoping that it was going to go to VAR, but that was more out of the incompetence of Scottish referees that I was hoping it was going to go to VAR and we might get a decision out of it, because when I seen the replay back, I don't actually think that there's anything wrong with the Motherwell boys' jump and attempt to header the ball. I think it's
he leads with his elbow?
Well, aye, but he's jumping, so where the fuck is he meant to put his elbows? Nicky Cadden doesn't jump at all. Nicky Cadden's just there. So if you're standing still and I jump, it's not like it's more your fault than mine that my elbows are hitting your face, because why are you not then attempting to win the ball with me? Why are you not attempting to header the ball? Do you know what I mean? Like, the ball's there to be won. The Motherwell boys went to win it, and he has won it. And I think Nicky Cadden just didn't put up a challenge for it. And I think that was, I think it was a fair challenge for me. Like, only when I saw the replay, I saw no issues with it.
I mean, I was a wee bit worried, Mark, when Nicky Cadden stayed down for that long and then he comes off and he goes right down the tunnel. But in hindsight, it's probably better for the system that we're playing to have that ready-made replacement in Jordan Obita to come on and kind of fill that gap that Nicky Cadden's left. And it paid off when he assisted the first goal.
I like Jordan Obita. I don't think he's had a great start to the season. I think that kind of culminated in him getting sent off against Dundee. I don't know if that... It's a bit of a mix between maybe David Gray losing a bit of confidence after that and also, the rise of Nicky Cadden as to why he's not got in the team. But he seems like one of these guys that's like a proper pro. Like, he seems like one of these guys that trains well, is a good influence, all that kind of stuff. And that kind of showed in that performance against Motherwell. He came on, he looked fit, he looked sharp, and I thought he'd done really, really well when he came on. I don't think he put a foot wrong. I think he was good defensively, and I think he got us up the pitch a lot. Obviously, he got that assist for Martin Boyle, but apart from that, I thought he was good getting balls in the box and pretty much doing what Nicky Cadden does, but to a lesser extent.
You could see, Shaun, that obviously Dwight Gale's had a word with him as well about the types of balls that he wants into the box. It's either that or he was kind of scuffing them most of the time. But sure, I think that it's good that we've got that sort of flexibility and depth and quality, that if Nicky Cadden was to come off, then Jordan Obita can slip right in and do just as well in that role.
Yeah, I think obviously Jordan gives us more of a defensive performance rather than Nicky. I feel like Nicky's obviously much better going forward, but Jordan does have a wicked ball into the box on his day as well. Mark's right, he didn't start the season too great, and it's kind of his own fault. He's kind of found himself at the team more than anything else, as well as obviously Nicky doing very, very well. I think I said this the other week, like, we're in a good position where on both sides, you could argue were relatively strong. I know Lewis Miller's not had the strongest this season so far, and it wasn't too great towards the end of last season, but Lewis and Chris are of a similar quality in regards to both going forward and defensive. Like, they both have attributes that benefit both attacking wise and defensively. And it's the same on the left hand side. So we're just in a very strong position down there. I was very concerned when Nicky went off, not only because it's a broken nose and thinking like how long is he going to be out for and all that kind of stuff. But the benefit is we've obviously got CLydebank at the weekend, so he would have been rested for that anyway. But I was concerned about how the team were going to react and see if there was going to be like a downward trajectory on the performance, and thankfully there wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. That's exactly what I was worried about as well. I'm thinking Nicky Cadden's coming off here. It's the one player really on the team that you don't want to be seeing coming off injured with the form that he's in at the moment. But he comes off and we score 2 quick fire goals. A nice instinctive finish from Martin Boyle, who's absolutely on fire at the moment. Can he stop scoring? And then just a couple of minutes later, some really good tenacity and work rate from Nectar Triantis to win the ball in the middle of the park. And Marc, it's a great run and an even better finish.
It was an amazing finish. I was kind of thinking when he takes it off, or not even takes it off the boy, sort of intercepts it and runs past him, I was almost thinking, what's he going to do here? Because it looked like a difficult position. He was really far wide, and obviously it's difficult when you're moving at that speed to get a really good connection on the ball, to put it right past the goalie, like on his far post. So I was kind of thinking, how is he going to get it to Boyle, who he could have squared it to, or is he going to put it to the back post to somebody maybe running in, whether it was Gale or whoever? And by the time that thought went through my head, he'd already smashed it off the post and in. So it's an unbelievable finish, like so difficult to do. Like I said, moving at that pace, he's probably ran 40 yards to get the ball and then to get in that position. So he's done brilliantly well to beat the goalie.
With his right foot as well.
Yeah,
because there's such a small area for him to get the ball so that it's going to be a goal. Obviously, it goes off the post and goes in. But Shaun, it's kind of shows you where Nectar Triantis is at the moment in terms of his confidence. He's playing really well and he's reaping the rewards for it.
Yeah, he's on fire at the minute.
3 games?
Yeah, he's doing very, very well. Him and Nicky Cadden have obviously found a lively performance in recent matches, or maybe even a month or so now, and that's probably been the core reason why, as a collective, we've been in a much better place. Some individual brilliance from Nicky and some, very, very strong performances in the middle of the park for Nectar as well. He could not have put it in a better place. He couldn't have put it in a better position into the back of the net as well. I don't think there's many other places that he maybe could have hit it and it would have went in. He's placed it perfectly in that corner. I was worried when he was going through because he looked like he was running out of gas, and I thought he might have needed to cut it across, but thankfully gets the strike on and gets the goal as well. And I was in recent weeks he's tailed off in certain matches, in my opinion, and I'm not expecting him to do it for 90 minutes, but I feel like at the weekend there he was really, really good once again.
I tell you what, if I'm Kettlewell or Motherwell fans or any Motherwell player, I am absolutely screaming at Andy Halliday in that position. Did you see him?
What, for the first goal?
No, for the second goal, for Triantis' goal. So basically, right, he runs, he basically notices the mistake, right? So he runs to catch up with Triantis. He's absolutely sprinting full pelt. And as Triantis is about to pull the trigger, Andy Halliday just puts the brakes on, stops, and basically gives Triantis all the space in the world to hit it. Whereas if he had kept running full pelt and basically threw himself, he maybe could have got a foot on it. So he's obviously expecting Triantis to maybe square it, and he's stopped to intercept it. But it's criminal. You see, watch the replay, right? And you can actually see the moment Andy Halliday just stops dead and gives Triantis basically all the space to hit the shot. It's absolutely criminal.
He's not really got a great record of coming to Easter Road and doing very well on the park, has he?
Well, he scored the winner last time, didn't he?
Oh, I saw that. I'm thinking
hooked
at
half time this time, though. Hooked at half time, so I got to write up on.
Aye, fucking Paul McGinn coming off as well before. before half time. I don't think anyone else in the stadium was as happy as me when he came off.
Me and my brother were pissing themselves because the boy that came on for Paul McGinn had a head knock. I've never seen somebody coming on the park with a head knock before.
So I mean, a couple of good goals, and I feel like that was maybe one of the best halves of the season when you think about how little we let Motherwell into it. Yes, we started a little bit slower, but we didn't kind of let that phase us. We tried to play our game, and then it paid off with those 2 quick goals. Shaun heading into the second half. You know what I'm going to say. Big fat load of nothing until Motherwell score. We didn't do an awful lot. I feel like we kind of came out in second gear, trying to anticipate Motherwell coming on to us, which they did a little bit. But until they scored the goal, I think they had 1 shot on target and 2 shots at goal. So we maybe could have benefited a little bit more from moving through the gears a little bit quicker. But at the end of the day, what are you going to do?
Yeah, Motherwell came out with the reaction that you would expect any side 2-0 down to come out with at halftime, and any reaction that you would expect your side to come out with as well. So the most important thing for me was the reaction to their goal. Hibs side, I was going to say, of the past, of this season, earlier on in the season, that would have went to 2-2 and maybe even 3-2. But the way that the players are at the minute, and the tenacity that the players have, they've, like, Motherwell have obviously got that goal back, and we've then just went, right, okay, cool, let's go back into another gear, and thankfully we were able to get that third goal and just kill it off straight away. Whereas maybe 4 months ago, that doesn't happen. So it just speaks volumes for me, the lively performance and the mentality of where the squad is at the minute.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mark, like Shaun says there, were you kind of worried when that Callum Slattery free kick goes in? Actually, before I find out if you were worried or not, can I just get your take on what Jordan Smith is up to in the goal?
Aye, it's one of them.
Ask me about that, by the way.
It's first of all, I had a feeling that he was going to score that free kick as soon as what's his face gave away the foul in that position. Just the time of the game, like that boy that took it hasn't, like, he's just back for like a year-long injury. Everything pointed towards that going in.
That Slattery,
Aye. So I had a feeling that was going to go in, and it's one of them where he's been clever because the goalie's obviously expecting him to go like over the wall, so he's almost kind of wrong-footed. Jordan, it's still poor. It's still poor because you should never get beaten at that side. That's why you set up a wall so that you can cover the other side. But look, to answer the question, I wasn't worried at all, which is a testament to Hibs, because if that had been 4 to 6, 8 weeks ago, whatever, I would have been absolutely shitting myself, because, like Shaun said, I would have been expecting either a 2-2 or even a 3-2. And we've seen it time and time again. Look at Dundee United when we're 2-1 up and fairly comfortable. I know we went down to 10 men, but we ended up losing that game 3-2. And the amount of games this year that we've chucked away, or this season I should say, that we've chucked away really, really late on. But I wasn't worried at all. I didn't think we'd go on and score to make it 3-1, but I thought we'd see the game out comfortably.
Mark, what was worse? Smith's attempt to saving that free kick, or David Raya's attempts to saving the Man United penalties?
Aye, I didn't really watch the Man United game. I did see the penalty shootout, but get up, you Shaun.
By the way, his attempts to try to save those penalties, Cunt was on his arse before.
To be fair, there was the penalty for Martinez. That was really bad because before Martinez before he was even near the ball, the goalie had dived.
Martinez, Euro, and someone else, he was already on the deck in the corner of the goal before the ball was even hit. Like
that Martinez one was really bad because Martinez looked up, seen that the goalie had dived, and just kind of stood there and tapped it on the other side.
Someone was going, David Raya was playing with flag.
That's what we get. That's what we get for missing the penalty in normal time. But anyway, back to Hibs, back to Sunday.
Yeah, I mean that. I don't know if you've seen it for Ken, the Motherwell boy, Shaun, the Feli Gogsy, the one that does all the vlogs. I don't know if you've seen the free kick from his point of view, but attempted save from Jordan Smith. It's absolutely hilarious. If you've not seen it, you need to go and watch it because it's so fucking funny.
This is why I'm not getting on board with him being a decent goalkeeper. Like the majority of the stuff
I think we've got a good defence and we're not letting an awful lot through to him.
His shot stopping percentages would reflect that, and the majority of the stuff that he's been asked to do since he came in has relatively been straightforward and straight to him. I know that's an easy thing to say with hindsight, but see, like any real attempt at goal, like it's going in. And that one at the weekend isn't even a real attempt at goal. Sockler's Aberdeen goal isn't even really an attempt at goal either. Like those kind of attempts, a decent goalkeeper saves them. And I know Bursick has been woeful, right, since he's been in, but he's just as bad. Like he's in a good vein of form, right? Fine, cool, sound, but he's still fucking shocking.
I think he's still
this window then, Sean.
What was that? Sorry?
Is a goalie top of your list for this window?
Well, aye, but it's not top of David Gray's, so what the fuck did I do? David Gray's happy with it, so maybe there isn't a recall option on Bursick.
I don't think there is. I think that's been reported that there's not a recall option or a cancellation option on Bursick, so he's going to be here picking up the bibs and putting down the cones for the rest of the season, I think.
Yeah, but just means we need to make sure that our back five or back 3 or 4 or whatever is as solid as can be.
Which they're doing at the moment.
Yeah.
But, I mean, chances that that's going to last for the rest of the season are pretty slim. But at the moment, they're doing what they need to do and not letting an awful lot through to Jordan Smith. So long may that continue, because we're on a brilliant run of form at the moment. And what is that? 11? Is that 1 loss in 11 or 1 loss in 10?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
7 unbeaten. Really, really.
I think the thing is with Jordan Smith, I think he seems to be improving quite a lot, right? Because I don't think he had kicked the ball in a long, long time before he came to us.
It was
and
like
see
2
his
or
first
3 years or something.
Yeah, his first 1 or 2 games, he looked really, really poor, like really poor. And since then, he has kicked on a bit, and I think there's glimmers of a good goalie there. I think against Rangers in that game, I know he conceded 3 goals, right? But he saved a hell of a lot, and without him, we might have ended up losing that game. The big frustration for me sometimes, and it's often something that you can't really teach, is how often he's glued to his line. He's so hesitant sometimes to come out and collect the ball. Do you know when there's that? And to be fair to him, right, I'm saying this, I'm kind of contradicting myself. He was brilliant against Hearts. See, at Tynecastle, the way he commanded his entire box and he came out and he played that sweeper keeper role, he was brilliant. But he doesn't do that enough. He doesn't come out and grab the ball and wipe out everyone in front of him to get it. He's almost hesitant, and the amount of times we've lost goals through people sort of nipping in and just getting in those positions in between the defence and goalie. So he needs to work on that.
It's a fantastic observation, Mark, to be honest. Finally, just wrapping up on Saturday's game. Obviously, we end up getting the penalty and Martin Boyle sticks it in their goal hole. Sean, Martin Boyle well and truly back for you?
Yes. 14 goals away from being more goals than Derek Riordan for Hibs, and
he's played about 110 more 11 games.
He has. He's played about 350 games or 348 games, and I think he's 11 goals away from hitting the 100 mark. So if there's any incentive for him to stay, that would be it. I do think he will be away in the summer, though. I think he'll get an offer to go to Australia.
Do you think that'll be because we haven't offered him anything, or do you think he'll just have a more lucrative offer from someone else? Because if you're Hibs at the moment, are you really willing to offer a 31-year-old Martin Boyle anything more than a 1-year deal?
Well, we're giving contracts to Junior Hoylett and Dwight Gale, and we talk enough about wanting to give experience to, or have experienced men that know the club inside out in the club, so they can rub off on the youngsters and players that come in. So why would we not want to maybe offer him a... The thing is, see with Martin Boyle, right, he is probably the highest earner because of the move back from Saudi, or if not one of the highest earners, right? So he's now 31 at the end of his deal. If anything, what we'll be offering him will be a decrease in wage each year. We're not going to offer him a salary now that's going to be the same salary in 3 years if we offer him a 3-year deal. I wouldn't see a problem with offering him a 2 or 3 year deal, because that would keep him to 33 or 34. And yes, his pace might not be there, but what he could offer other players that come into the club would be great. But realistically, the only chance I think he will stay is one if David Gray's is the manager come the end of the season, which I don't see why he wouldn't be. But if David Gray's the manager, because David Gray, I want to keep him. David Gray's tested him this season and he's came back stronger. And if we offer him something more than a 2 or 3 year deal, if we offer him a 1 year deal, he's going 100%. There's no way that at 31-year-old he's accepting a 1 year deal on a reduced salary in Edinburgh when he's spoke for the last 2 or 3 years about wanting to either end his career in Australia or at least play in Australia at some point. Now is the perfect opportunity for him to do that. Well, the main concern for me isn't necessarily keeping him or anything, because I do think he'll be away in the summer. My main concern for him is if we get any other penalties this season, he needs to stop hitting them down the middle. Because the vast majority of his penalties in recent years have been smashed down the middle. And the ones that he's missed have been the ones that he's tried to go into corners more often than not. So that's maybe something, it is something that he'll be aware of. It's probably something that the goalies that are now coming up against him will be aware of. So that's just maybe something else for us to be concerned about should we get another penalty.
Thing is, goalies get told not to stay in the middle, eh? They get told to dive.
They
regardless.
usually have to gamble, eh? But if he's hitting them down the middle every single time, then someone's going to stay.
His last few have been, so he's going to have to mix it up.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more kind of obvious because the one against Rangers and then the following week, we've got one against Motherwell and he puts it in the same.
His hat trick against Rangers at Hampden was smashed down the middle as well, and so have a few other ones.
Years ago, Mark, it's a difficult situation really with Boyle. As Shaun says, out of contract in the summer, it'd be a much easier decision for Hibs and Martin Boyle if he was under contract already until the summer of 2026. But fact of the matter is he's not. If you're making the decisions, are you offering him a deal? And if you are, how long is it going to be?
I would test the water for a 1 year deal. Obviously, like Shaun said, I can't imagine he would accept that, but I would test the water for a 1 year deal. Ideally, that would be perfect for us. Get him in another year. And look, it's not unheard of that happens. You look at guys that come towards the end of their career at Hibs, like Paul Hanlon and Louis Stevenson and all that, or a lot of other people. 1 year deals are the norm once you get past sort of 31, 32, 33. And then you just renew it every year. But I think the difference is Martin Boyle will have options, and he knows that he doesn't have to settle for a 1 year deal. He can go to Australia, probably on decent money.
Yeah.
The other thing I would say is if we do offer him a 2 year deal, we could say to him, look, we'll give you a 2 year deal. You'll be, say, 33 by the time it comes to an end. You can still go and play in Australia because, no disrespect, Martin Boyle will probably, barring any major injuries, will probably be able to go there at 33, 34, 35 and still play at a relatively high level because Australia, isn't the greatest of levels. So I would say...
You look at Dwight Gale and Junior Hoylett coming up the road and being mainstays in the Hibs team at 34 and 35.
Yeah. I think, stay another couple of years, see how it goes. Obviously, it depends how the rest of the season goes. If we manage to finish high up the league and, there's Europe, dare I say it, if we finish third, potentially group stage football. I know that's getting way ahead, but it depends how the season goes and where we finish and what happens that might sway him to stay another year or two. If we end up, tailing off and we maybe finish in the bottom six or whatever, I think then at that point he would probably say time's up and he'll maybe head.
Do you want him to stay, Mark, considering the potential argument that he's not actually been that great since he came back?
I want him to stay, and I've always been a believer that actually the stuff about him being, he's not as good as he once was and all that kind of stuff, I've always said that he's still a good player. Even at the start of this season, right, how do you expect somebody like Martin Boyle to be good in a team that's not performing all over the park? I've still thought he was dangerous and he was threatening and he gave his all. So I've never been one to say that he's pish and I want rid of him. I think we should keep him, definitely.
Do you think it would be more respectful to Martin to allow him that chance now when he's still got a good 3, 4, maybe even 5 years ahead of him? If that's what he wants to do is go to Australia and play there, and if he can get a fair few seasons out there, do you think that we owe that to him, Shaun?
That was probably the argument when the opportunity came to Saudi. Do you know what I mean? Was it the Peterborough manager? There's no room for sentiment in football. It's all about winning games. Hence why he didn't put Ashley Young's wee laddie on for 2 minutes. What an absolute scumbag move that was, by the way. I don't harshly. I don't think we necessarily owe him anything or he owes us anything. I think over the course of Martin Boyle's career, it has worked out fantastically for both parties for multiple reasons. The player he was when he first came versus the player he is now, and what he's turned into. No one would have ever imagined that he'd go on and play almost 350 games for us and almost score 100 goals. Do you know what I mean? He's transformed his career, and that's probably down to like managers like Neil Lennon and making a slight change in what to get out of him. If I was him, I would selfishly be looking at that move, but I would also be looking at that target of hitting that 100 goals for Hibs and maybe trying to break Derek Riordan's record. So It depends at this point what means more to him. I know the Saudi move didn't really work out for him financially and from a footballing perspective. So, and with him being one of, if not the highest earners at Hibs, he might have his eyes set on that target. I would love for that to be the case. I feel like a club like Hibs should have more players in the 100-goal mark. So I'd like to see that.
It'd be nice. It'd be nice for sure. But before we move on to CLydebank and a quiz, will we answer the listener questions?
Now it's time to answer the Hibs Ramble listener questions.
First up, John McIntosh says, bored of winning, nothing to moan about, what's for dinner? I'm not bored of winning.
Who wants to go first? Shaun, what did you have? You always have some nice dinner.
I had a chorizo pizza-inspired pasta bake.
Oh, pizza-inspired?
Yeah. So, obviously, tomato-based pasta, some herbs in there as well. And then we put it into
garlic dip.
Imagine just poured all the way over it. Put it into the oven-proof dish, ripped the mozzarella, poured the mozzarella over it, then put the big chunks of chorizo over it, and then put it in, baked, and then we had a wee bit of ciabatta on the side, garlic and onion ciabatta.
When are you getting the boys round, man? For a dinner?
That sounds damn good.
Because see, every single week, and without fail, I've always never had my dinner before I come on here, and Shaun will say something like that, and something incredible, like a king prawn creamy linguine or something like that, right? And I'm sitting here being like, I've got frozen chicken tenders in the freezer that I'm going to have. You know what I mean? So
is that what you're having tonight, Liam?
I think so. I think it's chicken strips and chips.
That'll do a wee bit of ketchup on there.
I don't even think we've got any ketchup. I think it's just,
just
barbecue. It's barbecue. The barbecue sauce and brown sauce that I've got in the house.
Yo, I hate that when I've not got ketchup and I have to use like another condiment with like something.
I don't mind. Ken, what I don't mind is I've got sriracha and I mix it with mayo to make sriracha mayo, of course. But I don't think I've got any mayo either. So I'm kind of up shit creek without a paddle here. I might need to have dry chicken and dry chips, which is going to be a travesty, but that's what I'm having for my dinner.
I had fajitas.
Oh, chicken, beef.
Chicken. I made a massive portion of like the sort of chicken stuff, chicken fajita, and I'm going to have some for lunch tomorrow as well.
Magic. I love it when you make too much and there's some.
No, but I purposely made too much. Like I used 2 packs of chicken and like I made like a massive batch so that I could use some for like when I'm working from home and that.
Class. Love that for you, mate. Next up, just as we were talking about Martin Boyle, Harvey Scott says 10 goal contributions this season already for Martin Boyle. Obviously a fat chunk of them coming in the last couple of games. 2 goals against Rangers, 2 goals again against Motherwell. Maybe we'll see him get to a couple more, 20 GA this season.
We'll see.
Fingers crossed. Good veiny form. Hopefully it continues.
Next up, Gav Dick, and I'm just wanting a one-word answer for this, boys. Gav Dick says, Triantis, get him signed. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, but it won't happen.
Do we throw the checkbook at it?
No.
In the summer? If he continues this rich vein of form, you look at who Sunderland have just signed. They've just signed the boy for Roma. Don't know how much they've spent on him.
On loan, no?
Was it only on loan? Oh, I thought they'd signed him permanently.
If they get promoted, there's a good chance they might, give him away. But
Give him back to us, please.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. It depends.
That it's not one of these playing for a contract loans, and then when he comes back permanent after.
What, like a wee Florian Canberry kind of vibes?
Rat.
Yeah, we'll see.
You want a mixture of us ending the season strongly and getting into Europe, and Sunderland getting promoted, because then Triantis will then have a decision to make about, right, what am I going to do? Am I going to go back to Sunderland and realistically get put on loan again somewhere else, or can Hibs fork out whatever the money is,
come here and play
and then I can go in and, like Mark said, not to get ahead of ourselves, group stage European football or some level of European football. I know the other year when we were in Europe, we ended up playing Aston Villa and getting absolutely pumped, but a lot of the players from that squad talk about the experience of that as well. So although it might have only been 4 or 6 games in the qualifying, it still means a lot to players.
Well, that kind of leads us in really nicely to our next question. That's from Lewis Patterson. He says, is third place now realistic?
Honestly, I think it is. And a huge part of that is because the teams above us are shite. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm sorry, right? Motherwell, fucking terrible. Aberdeen will be lucky to even get in the top 6. Dundee United, bang average. And we should have 2 wins out of 2 over Dundee United this season.
Dundee United have been making an absolute living out of scoring late goals as well.
Honest to God, they are an absolute classic Jim Goodwin gang. Look, away at Tannadice, that was when we were at our worst. We should have absolutely won that game, and obviously it was just a freak incident. At Easter Road, they got a penalty that's never a penalty to save a 1-1 draw.
Yep.
I'm telling you right now, I think Hibs and Hearts have both got a chance of getting third place this season, and that says something considering how far away we were 6 weeks ago.
Don't really want to talk too much about them, but I genuinely think, Sean, that, and I said it a few weeks ago, kind of a little bit tongue-in-cheek, a wee bit blasé, try to stir the pot a little bit, but the more that we're picking up points and the more we're putting in these resilient performances, and you're looking at the teams around us, there's no runaways there. There is absolutely a chance, if we keep this form up and beat the teams that we're expected to beat, why not? Why can't we finish third?
Both Edinburgh sides will be in the top 5 come the end of the season.
I think Hearts have got far too much to wallow around that end of the table, to be honest. I think Hearts have I know I've just said I didn't want to talk about them, but I think Hearts are going through that period now that we went through, and it's individual errors, bad luck, but
it's only the 14th of January, mate. Like, they still need to play. They still need to play everyone else 1.5 times. Do you know what I mean? They still need to play everyone at least once. The benefit that we have is that the majority of our away matches that we have left are now going to be against the lesser sides, which could be tricky because they'll be fighting for relegation or whatever.
Really, don't we?
Aye, we've played the vast majority of it up until the split, obviously. The vast majority of our tougher games have already been away. So yes, when the split comes, we'll then obviously be away, and then it'll be a difficult split for us, but then it'll have to be evened out because we can't have all the games away, so to say. So that will work in our favour. Mark, I feel like all I'm doing tonight is just right up Mark's arse before the episode, and now I'm saying he's right again. But he is, regarding like Aberdeen and Dundee United and Motherwell. Like, we've already spoke about Motherwell, we're absolutely rotten. Aberdeen have not 1 in 10, not 1 in 11. Whoever can go on a runny form like we have. I said this last week, Liam. Any side that goes on a runny form that we've had in the next 10 games,
there's a chance,
similar to what we've had, could pretty much guarantee Europe, because
I think this
is
everyone. Where other people are starting to be a little bit sceptical, though, is because you look at where we were at the start of December, end of November, and we were right down there at the bottom. And it's only taken us until the second game in January to get into the top 6. Because it's so tight, if we then just go on a couple of games where we're no picking up points or we're getting draws instead of wins against teams that we probably should be beating, and then your other teams, your St Mirrens, your Motherwells, end up putting a couple of runs together, then it's then going to be difficult for us to
but the benefit,
that back.
the benefit,
we've got to focus on what we're doing.
The benefit that we had is that we had a reasonably, for the most part, favourable run of fixtures. I know we still had to go to Tynecastle and we still had to go away to Aberdeen and Motherwell, and obviously the other defeat is to Celtic. But all in all, like, we still had to pick up the points regardless of who we were playing. At the point when we were picking up these points, the league was much tighter. So to go back to like what you guys are saying, obviously, or what you're saying, Liam, like Hearts are obviously 11th on 24 points. So there's now a little bit more of a gap now between them and 3rd or 4th versus what it was obviously when we were now coming into that runny form. So we've obviously hit this form at the busiest time of the year, but obviously the best time as well at the minute, because we're now no longer too far adrift to dream about getting into the top 6. We're now in the top 6, and we can now obviously hopefully start looking above us. I know there's only 3 points between us and 11th, so you are right, we do need to obviously still pick up the points, and that is massively important. We need to create a bigger gap between us and the bottom 6, but we have every right to sit here and say, why can't we go? Let's just make sure we can get to 5th. Let's see where we are when we're 5th. Let's go and pick up another couple of wins again. Then see when if we get to 4th. Let's see what's ahead of us then and see what the points are.
I think the main thing here to think about is exactly what you said, Sean, is that we've still got to play everyone at least once. So there's going to be chances for us to take points off of St Mirren, Dundee United and Aberdeen. That's the bottom line. Is it then that's above us, or are we above St Mirren? Is it Motherwell? It's Motherwell, Dundee United,
Motherwell
Aberdeen,
5th, Aberdeen 4th, Dundee United 3rd.
So there's going to be chances for us to take points off of them for us to get a little bit closer.
We need to keep the momentum up all the way up, because we've got Dundee United away from home on a Wednesday night at some point in February. So I think in between now and then we've got like Ross County away, Aberdeen at home. If we can keep up that momentum and get as close as possible to Dundee United and make that a proper 6-pointer, and if we can manage to beat them at Tannadice, which Hearts have just done, again, I don't rate Dundee United at all, then you just never know. We just need to keep plugging away. I think David Gray was spot on when he got asked about the sort of European dream. He was like, we just take it one game at a time, and exactly what Sean said, we look whoever's above us. At this moment in time, Motherwell are above us. Let's catch them. Let's overtake them.
Yep.
Then who's above us at that point? Just keep winning games, keep collecting points, try not to focus too much on the table, and we'll see where we are come the split.
I think that's the main thing. We've got to focus on what we can do, because realistically we can't affect anything that's happening anywhere else in the league. The only thing that we can do to drive ourselves up the table is not rely on other people, is rely on ourselves to pick up the points and get ourselves up that table. Next up, Colin McLennan says, a good win against a poor Motherwell side, but should we rest some key players against CLydebank? And it kind of leads into that look ahead to CLydebank, is can we afford to rest a lot of key players, because look at what happened against Kelty earlier in the season? Or is it a different kettle of fish now that we're up and running, we're halfway through the season now, and we're on a good run of form? Is it now a case of we can afford to rest players, or I don't know?
I think the difference is Kelty Hearts are a significantly better team, and we were playing them in their gaff.
Yeah.
So, look, at the end of the day, when you play teams like CLydebank in the Cup, or like non-league or lower league teams, and I remember we played Irvine Meadow a few years ago, and they tested us for the opening half an hour. I think it's their cup final. They've got nothing to lose. I think I wouldn't be opposed to resting players, and I think we shouldn't go too full pelt. I think some key players should play, and then you just mix that with some youth. You know, your guys like Rudy and all that coming in. But I think what will happen is, if it is a tight game, maybe first 60 minutes, I think they'll probably start to tire a little bit, and that's when we can maybe take advantage and put some of our key players on the pitch. But let's just hope it's not like that, and let's hope we put them to bed early, and it's a bit of a spectacle.
I think what kind of works in our favour as well, Sean, is that the fact that we won't have a league game for then another week. It's not like it's a midweek. Like if it was a League Cup, we would then have a midweek game, or the cup tie would be midweek, and then we'd have a league game on the Saturday. So, I think, like Mark says, just kind of have a mixture, but make sure that your best players are still in the matchday squad. That if push comes to shove, and I'm hoping that they're not needed, but if they are needed, they're there and available.
Well, yeah, the thing is, we obviously put the tweet out the other day about like the ratings of key-ish players so far this season. Our main key players are pretty much the bulk of our squad.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Like I'm looking through that. Like I'm looking through the squad while you were talking there, right? So you've obviously got Bursick and Smith. Do we really want to put Bursick in the firing line and then he concedes an absolute howler and we go 1-0 down? Like these are obviously the decisions that David Gray gets paid for. If it's Football Manager, obviously you're putting fucking Bursick back in the goals and just giving him some minutes in that. But realistically, that's a decision that needs to be made. But we want to obviously keep up the winning form. So does David Gray change formation? What is the point in changing formation? Because we've got such a good running form. But see if we stick with the same form, you're then having to play Cadden. You're then having to play Miller potentially. You've then got Rocky, O'Hora, Iredale, Obita, and that's your back five.
I think the main changes would be in the attacking areas of the park. I don't really think there's a much point in changing that back six with Smith in goals and then your five.
It wouldn't surprise me if the back six is of that kind of.
I think the back six needs to stay.
And then we have a midfield three of Mariah, Welsh, Levitt, and Rudy, and then you've got McCurdy and Hoylett up top. That's how I think it will look. Because
I think if it's going to be changed, and I think the only change in that back six is going to be Obita in for Cadden if he's not available.
Can we potentially see a McCurdy goal?
Oh my God, imagine. Do you think if he scores against Clydebank he would do it? I don't think he would.
No, he wouldn't.
Nah, he scored against Norwich in a friendly, didn't he? Was it Norwich?
Watford. I thought it was Edinburgh City.
Watford, sorry.
He scored against Edinburgh City as well. He scored a belter against Edinburgh City.
Yeah.
But then again, we saw Chris Mueller do a celebration away at Arbroath. I suppose it depends, It depends, like, if it's maybe like 5 minutes to go and it's nothing each or one each or something and he scores.
The thing is, mate, have you seen the crowd? Well, not the crowd, but have you seen the ticket sales so far?
Clydebank have sold a lot of tickets, I think.
Mate, our home, like, we've not opened the famous 5 stand, but, like, I looked on the website and it looked like we hadn't sold any more than, like, 1,000 tickets. Not even that. Like, it looked really, really grim.
I mean, without trying to sound too disrespectful to Clydebank, there should be in no fathomable universe in which Hibs exit the Scottish Cup at the weekend.
I'm not expecting an easy game. I'm not expecting
I don't
it
think it'll be an easy
because
game, I don't think we're not going to. I don't think we'll lose.
Clydebank have been brilliant this season in their league. I know that obviously they're a non-league side, but they've been brilliant in their league. And games like this, it's their cup final, nothing to lose. They'll come at it, like, give absolutely everything. So we'll see. Like, I'm in agreement. Like, we shouldn't be losing. We should be winning the game, and actually we should be winning it comfortably. But yeah, I'm not expecting an easy game.
The benefit we have is that we're at home. So
yeah,
do you know what I mean? And because so much of our squad has played so many minutes this season, none of them should really be relatively rusty. I.e. the back six, for example, where you don't really want to make too many changes. And then, like I said, if we're talking about a midfield three, Mariah, Welsh, Levitt and Rudy, that's still a very, very good midfield three for any SPFL side in league game, never mind against Clydebank. And then obviously you're still playing someone in Junior Hoylett's ability as well. So it should be more than enough, or will be more than enough.
Just to wrap us up on the listener questions, because I know that it's episode 114. 114 years is no more. We've got a Scottish Cup quiz made by Sean. The last question is, can someone tell Hibs the transfer window is open? This is something that I wanted to talk about because there's been quite a bit. I don't know if there has been quite a bit, but there has been some bedwetting in terms of we've not signed anyone. Just because we've not signed anyone doesn't mean that we're going to end up with shite players coming the end of the window. I can't see any of our key players leaving this window. I'm on the Yuan is staying train with Shaun. Choo choo, the train has left the station. I think that come the end of the window, we won't have weakened at all, and we will have strengthened, but it needs to be the right players, because you can go scattergun all you like in January, like Aberdeen have, but if it's the wrong players, then you're come the summer, if you've brought them in on a permanent, we're going to be in a very similar situation as we were summer 24. Are you either of yous worried about the lack of activity in the window so far?
Only because we're in a good position at the minute. That's the only reason I'm not concerned.
The only rumour that I've seen, Mark, is the Spanish centre half from Plymouth. I'm not going to try and pronounce his name because I tried to spell it earlier on, and I think my phone thought I was having a stroke. But I mean, I think if someone's going to come in that position, Mark, it's got to be someone who I can't see it being someone who's going to dislodge Rocky O'Hora or Jack Iredale.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, look, if we can't find the right player, regardless of position or whatever, if we can't find the right player, then I'd rather not sign anyone in January than just panic and sign anyone, because
especially
we've done that.
If we don't lose anyone.
We've done it in the past. We've done it so many times in January and summer. And look, January is notoriously difficult to get good quality players in, because why would somebody let a player go if they're playing well? So if we can't find the right player that's playing at a good level, then I'd rather not sign anyone in January. And I think it's good that David Gray started to get rid of some of the players that we want to see leaving, like Jake Doyle-Hayes, and I know Young O'Connor has left as well. So getting, thinning out that squad a little bit, the boys that are on the, not getting a sniff. If we do sign some good player, if we do sign some players, brilliant, good. I'm glad. If we don't, I'm not going to be massively upset. I think we need to remember as well that we've got guys like Bowie, Kukarevich, and others, Yuan, Ekpateta, Newell. Like, we've got a pretty big injury list at the moment. So for me, our squad depth, it's not amazing, but it's certainly not bad.
I think there's certainly a nucleus there, a positive nucleus of the squad that I don't think I can't see it changing between now and the end of the window. I can't see anyone coming in for a Newell, or maybe coming in for a Yuan, but I can't see anyone wanting to come in for Rocky, Iredale, O'Hora, either of the Caddens. Shaun, do you think it's more important that we, like Mark said, thin out the squad rather than add it with more fluff that in 2-3 years' time, when our contracts are running out, we're going to be delighted to see the back of?
Yeah, because that's exactly why we're in the bloody position that we're in at the minute, with 15 out of contract in the summer and probably only wanting to keep 2 or 3 of them. So the reason why we've made so many mistakes in the transfer window is because we've been reactionary. We've not prepared properly for windows in the past, and we've took our shot early for players that we probably shouldn't have went for, like McCurdy, for example. In hindsight, we probably shouldn't have went for someone like him. Malky's alluded to it in conversations as well, and so have other members of the board. There's players in the squad that we have that should be nowhere near the level of Hibs, and are happy to pick up a wage and not leave the club even on loan or in January. So that's exactly why I said it last week and Mark said it this week. It needs to be the right type of person and player that we bring in, and it is more important at the minute that we get people out the door rather than in the door, because the players that we're getting rid of at the minute, they might be great guys, but they might also be a negative impact to the squad and
Yep.
the harmony of the squad. So getting rid of players that are unhappy will also do us wonders.
See where we are come deadline day about what the state of the squad's like. But like Mark says, we've got quite a few on the injury list that's going to come back and fit right into that starting 11. You think Kieran Bowie, how good's Kieran Bowie going to be in the system, man? Like, seriously, Mark, you've said it for weeks now. When Kieran Bowie comes back, it's HMS piss the league, and I completely agree with you. But that wraps up our listener questions for this week. we're going to end with a quiz from Shaun. Mark, I don't know if you listened last week, but I made a new intro for the quiz, an intro song for the quiz, and I'm going to play it right now. Did you listen last week?
No.
No. I thought as much. Go on, get yourself ready, because it's Ramble quiz time. Here it comes.
Attention all ramblers. Don't go anywhere because it's Ramble quiz time.
That's fucking disgusting, by the way. I hate that every time I hear it.
Oh, it's so stupid.
Don't go anywhere because it's Ramble quiz time.
That's stupid.
That's funny though, eh?
Yeah, it's quite funny.
Let's
Sean, talk us through it.
let's put that behind us. Episode 114 of the Hibs Ramble happily falls on the week that we are going to play in the Scottish Cup.
It's
so
almost as if we planned it.
All those years ago, when the podcast was just a wee tiny dream. So we have a Hibernian Scottish Cup quiz. And it's all about the season or the run in which we ended our 114 years of hurt. So I have 14 questions. There are 114 points up for grabs.
What?
It'll make sense at the end, Mark. Don't worry. The last question's like 87 points or something. That's why. But it'll make sense. And if you don't get the fucking last one, I swear to Christ, then even if it's Liam, you're no welcome back on the pod.
Are we head to head against each other?
Head to head. Head to head.
Can we get a quick scores on the doors? Who is the reigning champ? Is it me or is it Craig?
Well, you've probably participated in more quizzes on your own than Craig has.
But in terms of head to heads, I think
you just by one eye. You just by one.
Reigning champ, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I had a quiz for Shaun last week, so Shaun technically would be the reigning champ, but he was playing against his cell, and even then he still got fucking half of them wrong.
That was difficult, and I finished on 7 or 8. You cheeky bastard. Yes, so the quiz is all around the cup run that we had in the 2015-16 season. Couple of questions per round as well, so testing your memory on certain things, and bonus points on offer. Not all questions are 1 point. There's some for 2, some for 4. The second last one's for 9 points. So there's loads of opportunities to come back and catch the person that might be in front of you. So play along at home. Hopefully everyone will be able to get the vast majority
Shaun,
of them.
just before you start, I've literally just thought of this now. Ken, how you don't get us to write down the answers, so basically we could just copy each other. I don't know if you're planning on doing this anyway, but I'll answer the first question first, then Mark will answer the second question first, then me the third question first.
Whatever you want.
Fair, so that we're not copying each other.
Fine by me. Fine.
Let's just make a pledge right now, Liam, that we'll both be honest with each other, right?
Cheers, mate.
Right, okay, so let's get into it. Let's get into it. I'll try and keep score, but please keep note of your own score as well.
I'll keep note of my own score, don't worry.
Question 1, and Liam, I will come to you for the answer first on this one. I'll read the question out as always a couple of times, give you time to have a think about it. Question 1. In the correct order, who scored our goals versus Wraith in the 4th round? And it must be in order. Okay, so the order that you give the scorers, except the first goal scorer and the second goal scorer, and you have to do that to get the points. So if you said, fucking, I don't know, Mark Oxley is the first goal scorer, which obviously wasn't the case, but then you got the second goal scorer right, you'd get 1 point.
Right, okay. And I don't need to guess the score.
No, you don't need to guess the score. I can confirm it. I can confirm it at the end as well. If you get both the scorers correct, but they're the wrong way round, then you get no points.
Right, okay. So I think the first one was Darren McGregor, and the second one was Dominic Malonga.
Okay, Mark.
That's right. That's what I was going to say as well.
That's correct. Yep. So 2 points on the board for both of you.
2-1, wasn't it?
It was 2-0.
2-0, was it?
Yeah,
2-0. Purple kit. Yeah.
2-0.
2-0. Second question, Mark. for 1 point. Did Darren McGregor start the match?
What one?
We're still talking about the same match. I'll confirm when we move on to another match.
I'm going to say no, he didn't.
Liam?
I'll say yes, he did.
Okay, Liam, you would be wrong. Mark, you're correct. Darren McGregor came on in the 50th odd minute for Nicholas Gunnarsson.
Really? And when did he score? He must have scored at like.
It was like 60. It was no long after he came on. Okay. Question number 3. Moving on to the next round in the cup run. We obviously went to Tynecastle, one of the most famous games in our history. Sam Nicholson scored one of the Hearts goals. So for 1 point, Liam, yep, tell me the name of the other goal scorer for Hearts on that day.
I think it was Jim. He comes from Cameroon. He never won a derby in Maroon. But I think he did after we started singing that song. So I think it was Arnold Jim.
Mark?
It was a screamer.
Correct.
If I remember, it was a great assist from Lewis Stevenson.
Shock. Yes, you would both be correct. And Liam, you're actually also correct. He hadn't won a derby until we started singing that song, which, by the way, is a fucking belter. And then he went and won a derby. So, thanks for that, Hibs.
Also, I mean, Palace fans sing that about Mateta now. I think that's a cracker of a chat.
What a song, though, eh? Absolute belter of a song. Right, moving on to question 4. Mark, you're obviously a point ahead, and you will be answering this question first. Question 4. Jason Cummins scored to make it 2-1 with 10 minutes to go in that match. But who was his striking partner during the game for 1 point?
Oh, God.
So just to repeat, Jason Cummins scored to get us back into the game with 10 minutes to go to make it 2-1. Obviously, we know what happened after that. But what I want to know is who was his striking partner during that match?
God, I'm going to get this wrong. Was it... Oh, what's his name?
Rein him in, man. Fuck's sake.
What's the boy that played for Hearts? And he played for Dundee, pure king of the championship. Keatings.
Okay.
Right. Is this who he started with?
I asked who was his striking partner during the match, and the reason I asked that is because we did not make an attacking sub in that match.
Right, okay.
So
I think I know who this is.
Okay.
Because I remember him having a chance in the second half that he put in the side netting. Was it Tony Stokes?
And we're level on points. It was Tony Stokes.
I can't believe I forgot about Tony Stokes. Oh, no.
Also, was it either him or Gunnarsson almost ended up scoring an OG in like the 94th minute? Was it Gunnarsson?
Lobbed it over Oxley and it hit the bar.
Yep, so there we go. So, points on the board, all square, 4 points. Moving on to question number 5. In the replay a week later, Jason Cummins scored again. But who assisted that goal? Liam.
David Gray.
Mark.
David Gray.
That's correct. It was David Gray. And what I remember,
think of anyone.
Get it into the box as well.
What I remember most about that is he goes to put a cross in first and hits the first man, and the fucking the groans when he hit that first man. He talks about it himself in one of the interviews after, you know, when we done like the DVD and that. He's like, oh fucking hell, I need to get this one right, and then puts it in and we go 1-0 up.
It's terrible defending for Hearts, by the way, to let
shocking defending
in that 6-yard box.
Shocking defending. Right, there's 4 points up for grabs here, Mark. Right, so have a good long think about this one. 4 points up for grabs here. In the same match, both sides went down to 10 men. But what I want to know is who got their man sent off first. Now, to get the 4 points, what you want to say is you want to get the name of the player that got sent off, and you want to get it in the right order. So if you give me both the names of the players that got sent off, but it's in the wrong order, then you only get 2 points. But if you get it in the right order, so hypothetically, if you went Hearts got theirs sent off and it was this player, and then Hibs got theirs sent off and it was this player, and it was right, you're sound. So 4 points up for grabs total. So just to repeat the question, in the same match, both sides went down to 10 men, but who got their man sent off first? And to get the 4 points, you need to confirm the name of each player that was sent off and the order.
I can honestly barely remember this game. If I remember right, Hearts got a man sent off first. I'm just going to have to guess. I'll say...
Hypothetically, if you go Hearts, right, and just name a player, and you're right, and Hearts got their sent off, you'd still get a point for that. And then obviously, if you get the Hibs one right, you could potentially get 2, so you could walk away with 3 points.
I'll say Sam Nicholson and Jason Cummings.
And so that order, Hearts first, and then
Yeah.
Hibs. Liam?
Right, now I know Jason Cummins gets sent off because I think he got 2 bookings and I don't think he made a foul. I think Cummins got sent off first.
Fuck!
And I think the Hearts player that got sent off, now I might be miles off here, it was one of their Craig Levein scattergun signings. I think it was his name Rossi? Was it Rossi, centre-half?
So, just to confirm, Mark is going Sam Nicholson first, Jason Cummins second.
Mm-hmm.
Liam, you're going Jason Cummins first.
Yeah.
And Rossi second.
Yeah.
So, you are correct. Jason Cummins did get sent off. So there you go. You've both got a point for that. Mark, however, gets a second point because Jason Cummins got sent off second.
Oh, did he?
So therefore, you only get 1 point because you also got the Hearts one wrong. It was Augustine that got sent off. So fuck
I knew it was someone like that.
So Mark, you've walked away with 3 points for that one, and Liam, you've walked away with 1.
Fucking hell.
I'll take that.
Which I was swithering whether to even put that in because there was a quiz, the Derby quiz that we done with Tony and Nigel and that a while back. I had that question about sending off so in it, and I didn't know if that would maybe trigger any alarm bells. But here we are. Mark, well done, 3 points.
I think it's fairly widespread information that when we're not on the pod, we don't listen to it.
Well, we were all on that one. We were all of us were on that one. Because there was like 7 of us on that night. Right, moving on to the bonus point here. So this is...
Are we still on question 6 here, Sean?
Still on question 6, but it's like a 6B, this one.
I just realised I've not been keeping score. Sorry.
It's alright, I've been keeping score, don't you worry, sir. Bonus point, and there's a potential 2 bonus points on offer, but I'll come to you for the answer first here, Liam.
Okay.
Bonus point, why was each player sent off? So we now know that Augustine was sent off, and we now know that Jason Cummins was sent off. But
Right.
why were they sent off?
So,
and I need the reason for both of them.
Right, okay. So Jason Cummins was 2 bookable offences. The first one was...
Don't care about the first one, I only care about the second,
Alright.
the actual event that got them sent off.
Right, okay. So his second booking was, I think, he threw the ball away or kicked the ball away or something. When Hearts had a free kick, he got a second booking and sent off. And I don't know if that one was a straight red. I feel like that one was 2 bookings and all. I'm just going to go that Augustine made a dirty foul and got a second booking for.
Okay, I'm going to need you to... I'm going to have to press you on an answer for Jason Cummins. Did he kick the ball away or throw it away?
I think he kicked it away.
Right, Mark, why was Augustine sent off and why was Jason Cummins sent off?
I think Jason Cummings threw the ball away. And I think Augustine, it was sent off for assault, basically. It was like a headbutt / punch. Total guesses, by the way. Total guesses.
Augustine was sent off and there was 2 minutes between the sending offs. Augustine was sent off for throwing the ball away in anger. second yellow.
Wrong.
Jason Cummins was sent off for kicking the ball away 2 minutes later, and that was his second yellow, which makes it even funnier because Jason Cummins went to press the ball to keep it in at the famous 5 end in the corner between that and the east. The ball is clear as day out, and he just swings his leg and kicks the ball back in the pitch for no apparent reason, and then 2 minutes later he gets sent off for it. So there you go. So Liam, you've picked up a bonus point there.
So I think I'm behind by 2.
I think it may be 1,
2, 3,
1
4,
or 2.
5, 6. I've got 7 points.
Mark's on 8.
Right, okay. That's very close, Mark. Very tight. Toit, like a tiger.
Okay, question 7. I need to remember now because it's wrongly numbered on my note here.
Yeah, it's 7.
Hibs legend Chris Dagnall came on for James Keatons, who was the goal scorer in the next round against Inverness at home in the 1-1 draw. But what I want to know is, what squad number did Chris Dagnall wear for the Hibs?
I know this one.
And Mark, this will be you answering this.
Yeah, I don't even know who that is. I have not a clue who that is.
I actually have a picture of him right here. Let me get it for you.
I've got his squad number in it, has it, Sean?
I'll obviously cover the squad number, Liam. So, just to repeat the question while I find the picture of Chris Dagnall. In the next round against Inverness at home, in the 1-1 draw, Chris Dagnall comes on and makes an appearance for the Hibs, replacing James Keatons. But what squad number did this man, if that comes into focus?
Do you not remember him at all, Mark?
For the
I'm not
Hibs.
beside because he did absolutely fuck all.
Yeah, he done
I've literally...
You got a medal. Sign him from like Charlton or something.
I don't know. I cannot recall him. What can I get? What position he was?
A striker, mate.
Is that what you said? You said that.
No, just because he replaced James Keatons, he was a striker. Try and wither it down. If you can try and remember what number James Keatons was, Jason Cummins, Tony Stokes, other strikers that we may have had in the squad that season.
I don't know. It's going to be a random number. It's not going to be like I'll say like fucking 29 or something.
You bastard.
It wasn't. It's not 29.
It's 29.
That's outstanding, by the way.
You're joking.
That's
It's not
outstanding.
29.
29.
You're
Yep.
fucking kidding.
I'm
You're
not
getting
even
another
kidding.
point, man.
Mate,
Bringing it back onto level terms. That's incredible.
That's
knowledge
outstanding.
for you, Mark.
I thought of 28. I thought of 28, but then I was like, I'm sure somebody was 28 that season.
Stokes was 28.
Stokes.
Aye.
Well done, Mark.
I'm giving it away there because I'm pretty sure he said whittle it down, think of players like Stokes and that, and I thought 28, and I just went the one above that.
That is incredible for you, by the way.
Right. This should be common knowledge, so if neither of you get this, I'll be fucking livid with you.
Question.
In the replay, away at Inverness, which was famously after Ross County beat us in the League Cup final a couple of days later, in the replay, we obviously then went through. But what I want to know is what happened to Mark Oxley that led to him being booked and subbed in that match. Liam?
He was booked for time wasting because he lost his contact lens, I think.
Mark?
It's difficult for me not to copy that answer because it's clearly right. It's clearly right. Aye. Sorry, Liam.
That's all right, mate. It's all right. I copied your 29, even though I knew what it was.
Yeah, I'll say he was time
Funny if I
wasting.
was leading you down the garden path, the descent or something.
It's the way the cookie crumbles, lads. Right. Next question. Number 9. Farid El Alagoui featured in only one match for us in the Scottish Cup that season. 1 point. Mark, who was it against? So Farid El Alagoui played for us in the 15-16 season, but only featured in one Scottish Cup match. All I want to know, what match that was.
Oh, Christ.
Don't care if he started. Don't care if he came on as a sub. Just want to
I'll
know the
say-
only Scottish Cup one he featured in.
I'll say Dundee United in the semi-final.
I think, yeah, my logic was it went to extra time.
And I'm pretty sure he was injured that season and he came back quite late on.
Yeah, I genuinely had that in my head as well, Mark. So I'm going to also say Dundee United.
So you don't think it was maybe Inverness away after we'd been beat by Ross County in the League Cup? And
No, I think it was Dundee United.
I'm just going to stick with Dundee United.
that's fine because you would both be correct.
Yeah.
It was, and it was extra time. And Mark's right; he was injured for the majority of that season. So
Yeah,
very well done. Okay, moving on to
he was hard done by at Hibs. I thought he was a player.
he's well thought of though within the support. Next question. By the way, this is an absolute belter of a question, and I did not know it until I found that out. Which former Hibs was on the bench for us versus Wraith in the 4th round, but then played against us in the semi-final for Dundee United?
I know this one.
How fucking good is that, by the way?
I know this one.
And I know you know that because I know who the player is. So unfortunately, I'm going to ask Mark.
I literally have no clue.
I remember speaking about this. I don't know if I've spoke about it on the pod, but I remember it's like a little nugget of trivia.
Did he start against us?
And for the Dundee United one,
Dundee United.
I'm sure he comes off the bench.
The only player.
How was he allowed?
I know.
Because he didn't come onto the field to play
Oh, right.
in Wraith.
I
the
have
only
genuinely no idea.
The only player what, Mark?
I have no idea.
Give me a Dundee United player for the 15-16 season. And
I don't even know one. I genuinely couldn't even tell you a Dundee United
They
player.
pipe up with a Johnny Russell or something like
Yeah, fucking David Goodwillie.
Right. Liam, put Mark out his misery.
that. I believe
the
it
player.
was Henry Ania.
I would have never have got that, and I'm away.
Correct. Now, I obviously knew that he played for us that season, but I didn't know he was on the bench against Wraith until I was looking at the teams when I was prepping
I
this.
didn't know that he was on the bench against Wraith, but I remember he played for us that season, and then he came on for Dundee United against us in the cup.
Again, can't even remember who it is. Never mind. Played for Dundee United.
Funny blonde hair. He was pretty pish for us, to be honest.
He was absolutely woeful in the semi-final as well.
Pretty forgettable.
Okay.
But
Question.
has he been?
Probably now. Probably. I'll do a points check after this one. Question 11. Prior to his debut for us, Conrad Logan hadn't played in 14 months, stretching back to December 2014, which you could probably tell when he rocked up at the Hampden Park on the 16th of April 2016.
Mm-hmm.
For
1 point, all I want to know is who is the last team that he played a professional match for before he joined the Hibs?
Is it me?
First?
No, it's Liam on this one.
I think. Now, I know where he joined us from, but I can't remember if it was that team.
Well, technically, he was a free agent.
Yeah, aye, but like the team that he played for.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Leicester.
Okay, so just to repeat the question for the listeners and for Mark, prior to his debut on the 16th of April 2016, Conrad Logan hadn't played for 14 months, stretching back to December 2014. Who did he play for in that match? Marcos.
I don't know. I'm sure it was a loan somewhere.
This is what I was kind of torn between that.
And I'm sure it was some...
Do you know there's now a Hibs supporters club for this club?
Rochdale. Is that who it is?
Big man's got it.
I knew it was...
I thought he went to Rochdale after he was...
It was a loan. Was the loan... Who was the loan from? Was the loan from Leicester?
Leicester.
Aye.
Yeah. Very well done. Right, points check.
That's a huge pull from you, Mark.
Mark, Liam, you're on 11. If you want to tally that up with yours and double check, that's correct.
Yeah. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yep.
Mark's on 12.
Big couple of questions coming up here, Mark.
Huge. All to play for. All to play for. So we've got 3 questions left. 1 point on offer for this one. Then there's 9 points. And then there's 87 points to end.
Please don't tell me I need to name 87 Hibs players that played in the 2015-16 season.
We could maybe name 87 in the last couple of years, sign-ins wise. Right. I guess both of you will actually only really know this, and Mark, I think I'm coming to you for this one. You'll only really know it if you know it, to be fair. I know that sounds stupid to say, but... Question 12. The 2016 Scottish Cup final was the first of its kind. What I want to know was what made it the first of its kind. What was so special about it? This is why I'm saying you'll only know if you've heard it or if you've read it or seen it. And I think Liam knows.
The first ever of its kind.
First, it never happened. Before Hibs played Rangers in the Scottish Cup final, the 2015-16 season, this had never happened until these two sides met.
Is it neither side being in the Premier Division?
Liam?
It sure is. The
Sure
first
is.
first cup final in which
it was the first Scottish Cup final to be contested by two teams outside of the top tier of the Scottish Football League system. What? That's brilliant. Hey, that's quality for us.
And Rangers.
We should have had a fucking treble that season as well. We should have had a fucking treble. Anyway, right. Question number 13. 9 points on offer here, by the way. 9 points. So have
this
a long,
is going to get juicy,
hard think about it. Now, because of the nature of the question, we're going to go 1 for 1 on it. Okay, so because there's technically, it'll make sense. Anyway, I'll read the question out and then I'll explain what I mean. Name the players who came on as a sub and who they replaced. And it must be in order.
In the cup final?
In the cup final. So basically I need 9 pieces of information. I need who came off, who came on, and I need the order. So if you get the order the wrong way around, you're done, you're not getting the points. Must be the right order, must be the right player off and on. And they were all made at individual times, so it's not as if like 2 players came on and 2 players came off at the same time. They were all individual instances.
If I'm just spitballing here, because chances of us getting them all in the right order, if we get the right players who exchanged, are we getting a point there?
Yes.
Right, okay. That makes it a little bit easier then. Because
if you get the right players that are exchanged, you technically get 2 points.
Right, okay, cool.
Yeah. Right. So hypothetically, right, let's say David Gray got subbed off and Martin Boyle came on.
Mm-hmm.
And that was that was the last sub. But you said to me it was the first. You'd only get 2 points instead of 3.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Right. I get you.
Okay, so I'll just repeat the question just to give you a wee bit more time. Name the players who came on as a sub and who they replaced in the Scottish Cup final.
Okay.
Yeah. Mark, I'll come to you first. So you don't even necessarily need to give me the first one. You can give me the second one or the third one, whatever one you remember the clearest. Just tell me.
I could not. I don't think I could tell you. I think I could maybe name some of them that came on, but I genuinely don't think I can name any subs out of that. I'm going to absolutely falter at this.
I just need to think about
I've got all
starting 11
subs.
and then surely. That's what I mean.
I think I know all 3 of the subs, but I don't think I can give you them in the right order.
That's disgusting, by the way.
Mate, like...
Greatest game in our history.
Aye, but who analyses this sort of shit? We won the game 3-2, like, that's all I care about.
And one of the subs made fucking the biggest difference.
Aye, I know one of the subs made the biggest difference, I know that, but...
I know, I can't believe David Gray came on with 5 minutes to go that day.
Nah, David Gray went off with 5 minutes to go, mate.
In fairness, right, I only knew the order because I was fucking raging with one of them at the time.
I think I know the first one, but then it's the second and third ones that
Mark, is there any you're confident on that you want to go first before I go over to Liam?
The only one that I could say that came on was Henderson.
Okay.
That's literally it. I don't even know who he came on for.
Could you tell me whether he was the first, second, or third sub? Because then
I'll say second.
You could get a point.
I'll say second.
Okay. Is there any other players that you're aware came on or went off that you could have a guess at the order before I go over to Liam?
Are we not doing one each?
Yeah, but you've only named
so we have to name all of them.
No, you've only named one player that's came on, so theoretically I would want to know the player that came off for him, is what I'm looking for here.
I don't even know who went off. I don't know. Keatings. Cummings. I don't know.
Right, well, what I'll do then, since you're so clearly not unaware, I was going to say unaware, that's rude, so oblivious as to who the subs were, is that the only one that you're sure on, yeah?
Yes.
And do you want to hazard a guess on any of them? Because I feel like Liam might know quite a few of them. Instead of going one for one, because then that way you'll just copy.
Right, wait. Let me... Right, so I know that Liam Henderson came on.
Yep, and you're saying he came on second.
6
Is that correct?
minutes later.
Sorry. I don't know. Right, I'm going to say we must have taken off... Right, I'll say we took off Fontaine and Henderson and Keatings came on.
You gave me 3 names there, Mark.
That's the only things that I can kind of remember.
Right. Okay. So let's break that down then. Right. So Henderson came on, and you're saying Henderson was the first, second, or third sub.
Henderson's second.
Right. And who did he come on for?
Did
he come on for
Fontaine?
Right. Okay. So there's one. So you're saying the second sub was Fontaine off and Henderson on. Right. So we've got one for you. Right. You've just said that Keatings came on as well. Right.
For Cummings.
I can't believe he's done it again.
Okay.
And who else? Did I say somebody else came on?
No,
you
just said them. So we'll leave it there then. If you're not confident in the rest, I'll leave it there.
Right. So that's what I'll say then. That's what I'll say, and I'll say that came on third. No, that came on first. Keatings for Cummings.
Liam?
Right.
I'm so intrigued to know your answers here.
Keating's come on for Cummins first.
That's what you're saying?
Yep.
Same as Mark.
Henderson come on for Fontaine second.
Okay.
Gunnarsson come on for Hanlon third.
Okay. So
I would never have known that. I would never have got that in a million years.
So we got there in the end. So Liam, you've got 9. Mark,
6.
You've got 6.
That's incredible pull for you again, Mark. You've been so good at the guessing. So good at the guessing.
But Liam, that unless you get this answer wrong, the next question, then you've won.
So. I think Mark's frozen, so I might have won anyway.
Move on to the last question after an incredible guess / sly check by Mark from wherever he pulled that information from. So Liam, you are now ahead by 2 points. I make it
2 points
ahead by 2. Moving into the last question to wrap us up on the 2015-16 quiz. I would like to know, Liam, how many Rangers players were assaulted at full time by Hibs fans?
Okay. How many was reported or how many it actually happened to?
Well, regardless, the vast majority of the answers that you and Mark could give will probably get you 87 points.
I'm going to say all 11 players were assaulted at the end of the game.
Is it how
Mark,
many players were assaulted?
Yes.
I remember Tavernier.
I honestly cannot believe that they done a press release saying that all 11 players were assaulted by Hibs fans at full time. That's ludicrous, man.
To be fair,
Absolute
a couple of them
ludicrous.
actually were.
I remember the goalie got a pelt, did you know?
Aye.
Aye.
Dean Shields as well.
That's unfair on Dean Shields. One, he wouldn't have seen it coming, and two, he played for him. So yes,
Lee Wallace with a phone charger as well, I think.
87 points for both of you. That wraps up the Scottish Cup quiz based on the ending of the 114 years heart on our 114th episode. Yeah, that's correct. That's what I was looking for. Liam, you have edged ahead right at the death and
Absolute
won by 2 points.
90+2 winner.
That's it. Very well done.
Just in true Scottish Cup fashion.
Congrats, Liam.
Mark, you rode your luck for an awful long time at that.
I cheated.
So
I majorly cheated throughout.
Did you actually?
No.
Could you not
I
tell?
cheated in the Scottish Cup subs. I was a bit embarrassed that I didn't know any of the subs, so I googled that.
I could see that. Could you not see the white screen on his face changing?
The number, the 29 number, was an absolute lucky guess. But yeah, I did Google the Scottish Cup sub. Minus 10 points.
Googled it and still only got.
No. Do you know what? I had the other sub there, but I thought if I give the other sub, it's just going to be too obvious that I've cheated. So
To be fair, you could have fooled me, mate.
yeah, I did cheat on that question.
That handshake at the start means now absolutely nothing.
No, I meant the handshake at the start was that we wouldn't copy each other, which I also did as well. So
Mark, I actually have your requested quiz at the ready for a future episode anyway, which, if you don't remember, was the 13-14 season.
I think I would get on better with that, because I must say, during the period when we won the Scottish Cup, I wasn't a very good Hibs fan. But like the last 5 years, in like 2010 to 2013-14, I was a good Hibs fan.
I have that. You requested a 13-14 quiz, and I have it sitting waiting for future
I think
episode.
I'd be alright at that one as well. We went to most of the games.
Yeah, 12-13, 11-12, that era. I think I'd be quite good.
Yeah.
Right, so probably what feels like 114 minutes. I'll let you bring us to a close.
I don't think there's a kick in the arse off it, to be honest. Thank you very much, Sean, for that quiz. I really enjoyed that. I love it when you do quizzes. It took me ages to do the quiz for last week, so I can't imagine how long it must have taken you to get the questions and answers for that. So if you played along at home, let us know what your score was. And I think that'll do it.
If you would also like to rate Mark and Liam's performances out of 10, feel free to leave any comments.
I think you've kind of got to dock Mark a couple of points.
I mean, I lost anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So.
Yeah. But no, if you've got this far, thank you so much for listening. As always, we really appreciate the support. If you don't already, get us on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok. We are at the Hibs Ramble. If you want to look for us anywhere, that will be our tag. You can join us in the Discord server as well. I'll pop the link in the bio in the description and stuff if you want to join that, to chat with us on game days and about the pod and shit like that if you want to. And if you don't want to, then don't bother. But all that's left for me to say is, Mark and Sean, thank you so much for joining me this evening. I know it's been a little bit longer than we planned.
See, Dundee are beating Celtic 3-2.
Are
Thanks
they
for
really?
that, Liam.
I also saw that Forest and Liverpool is 1-1. But Dundee are beating Celtic 3-2. That's not very good for us.
Well, I was just about to say that. Well, that's not very great for us.
We're still 6th, though.
I'll take it. I can't see Celtic getting beat. How long to go?
Like 7 minutes.
7 minutes.
Oh, Celtic are good at...
It is at Dens Park, though.
I know, but they did it on Saturday at Ross County, didn't they? got a couple of goals. Got 3 goals in like the last 10, did they not?
Oh well.
Oh well.
Well done.
I suppose.
Well done to all our Dundee listeners.
Yeah, well, by the time this comes out, yous will know, listening to this, yous will definitely know who won that game.
My prediction is it'll be 3-3.
My prediction is it'll be 8-3 to Celtic. I think they'll score. I think they'll score 6 goals in the last 10.
Right.
Yeah,
that's plenty.
We will wrap it up now. Thank you so much for listening. And cheery bye.
Bye.
Let's get ready to rumble.